Discovered, how one shy sister's hidden desire turned into a life-changing heist at the ball. Clara stood in front of her mirror, fingers trembling as she traced the outline of her dreaming heart. The January chill seeped through the window, but she felt an aching warmth bloom within for the upcoming winter ball. This wasn't just another dance, it was her chance to step into the light and away from the towering shadow of her older brother, Jake. In their small Midwestern town, where whispers of accolades followed him everywhere, she felt more like an invisible wisp, armed only with unnoticed dreams and gnawing insecurities. Each time Jake scored a basket or won a race, the town erupted in celebration, leaving Clara with quiet applause ringing in her ears for her humble attempts at creativity. How could she compete with his glimmering achievements? She could practically hear the echoes of laughter from the crowds at his games as they sang his praises. Yet, inside her, a spark burned fiercely, a yearning to be seen, to dance, to claim a night that was wholly her own, but reality hit hard. Their family car sputtered and wheezed like it was fighting a lost battle against time. The idea of finding a dress felt like grasping at smoke. Her parents were already burdened with endless responsibilities, working tirelessly to keep the household afloat. "Just keep quiet and stay out of trouble," her mom often reminded. Clara sighed, looking into her own reflection, feeling a surge of frustration. She wanted more than silence, she wanted to be Juliet, not just a background character, and then, in a stroke of reckless inspiration, she confided in her quirky best friend, Lily. "What if we borrowed some fabric from Mrs. Harper's shop?" she whispered, the excitement bubbling up despite the naughtiness of her proposal. The floral shop shimmered with affluent elegance, its vibrant colors taunting her silent dreams. The planning began, and so did the hilarity. Their stealthy heist turned out to be farcical chaos, Lily tripping over her own 2 feet, Clara gasping as they both hid behind a hydrangea display. When Mrs. Harper's back turned, they made their move. One bolt of shimmering fabric, hidden in Clara's backpack, and they scrambled out like thieves on a mission. In that moment, Clara felt like a rebel, adrenaline coursing through her veins, yet as the days rolled on, the weight of her family's struggles pressed down on her. The tension simmered at home as bills piled up, and miscommunications soared. When her parents discovered Clara's wild scheme, their faces twisted in disbelief and anger. Just like that, her dream came crashing down, revealing their fears about expectations and what it meant to fight for yourself in a world obsessed with success. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Now, as Clara prepared for the winter ball, her heart raced with mingled anticipation and fear. Would she merely fade into the background like so many times before, or would she finally burst forth, claiming her place in the world? The night hung in the air like the sweetest tension. The elegant hall sparkled, laughter echoing all around, and with each heartbeat, she felt the weight of all her dreams, hopes, and insecurities splinter beneath the surface, begging for release. Clara had to make a choice. Would she dance into the night and embrace who she truly was, or would she let fear pull her back into silence? Clara gripped the fabric of the shimmering dress she'd hastily stitched together, the shimmering material a blend of nervous laughter and bold determination. Standing at the entrance of the winter ball, she felt a whirlwind inside her. The hall was filled with swirling dancers and the fragrance of pine and cinnamon, every detail blurring into a dazzling tapestry of dreams. This was at the moment she'd been working toward, even if it had come with such reckless abandon. As she stepped inside, hearts and eyes turned her way. There was an unfamiliar weight of attention, heavier than before. She could feel Jake's familiar presence across the room, laughing and basking in the warmth of his friends, but for the first time, she didn't feel the immediate need to slink back into the shadows. A flicker of courage lit her heart. "Clara. You look amazing." Lily bounced over, her face lit up with genuine excitement. She wore the other half of the fabric, a playful dress that matched Clara's spirit. Clara smiled in response, the tension in her shoulders softening. "Thanks. I can't believe we actually did it," Clara whispered back, glancing at the crowd, the thrill deliciously intoxicating. For once, she wanted to embrace the moment instead of shying away. Moments later, Clara found herself drawn to the dance floor. The music pulsed, urging her feet to move. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the rhythm, and stepped forward. The world faded away. All of Clara's worries and insecurities melted beneath the vibrant lights as she moved, clumsy yet free. She twirled, laughter bubbling up, spilling like glitter, but Jake's voice cut through her revelry. "What are you doing, Clara?" His voice was a blend of confusion and disbelief. His presence loomed, a relentless reminder of all the unspoken doubts she harbored. It grabbed hold of her joy like a vice, her heart raced. Could he really not see how hard she had tried? "I'm dancing, Jake. Like anyone else." Her defiance tasted sweet and terrifying all at once. That he frowned, glancing at the dress. "You stole that, didn't you? You know Mom and Dad are going to be furious." The moment hung in the air like a bead of sweat pooling over her brow. There it was, the weight of his expectations, the clashing of their worlds. She could feel the fires of shame trying to ignite, but Clara pushed against it, holding her ground. "Maybe I did," she said, her voice steady despite tumultuous emotions crashing against her. "But I wanted to be here. I wanted to be seen." And just like that, the air shifted. In that brief exchange, Clara dared to be vulnerable. Instead of backing down, she danced closer, allowing herself to drown in the music rather than the judgment. Jake blinked as if she was a stranger, but somewhere deep behind his protective facade, uncertainty brewed. Clara saw it flicker in his eyes for just a moment, the realization that his fierce expectation could never cage her enthusiasm. She turned back to the dance floor, spinning away from him, her spirit soaring. Her heart sang in harmony with the throbbing beat as she found joy in every twirl and shuffle. But could this truly be her moment of freedom? As the music reached its crescendo, Clara's newfound courage brims with equal parts uncertainty and hope. Perhaps this was only the beginning. The night held mysteries yet to uncover, and Clara felt drawn to the celebration just as much as the shadows of doubt whispered her name. What would happen if she didn't let fear define her, even when the music faded? Before she could spiral deeper into anticipation, a warm hand clasped hers, offering a gentle pull back to reality. "Clara, I owe you an apology," came Jake's voice, softer this time. "Let us talk." What did that change mean? Would he understand her quest? Clara took a deep breath, the air heavy with unspoken questions, and nodded, ready to know what came next. Clara followed Jake outside, the music fading into a soft thrum behind them. The cold air wrapped around her, but it was a welcome change from the warmth of the crowded hall. Her heart thumped in her chest, part excitement, part dread. What would Jake say? Would he welcome her newfound spirit or crush it altogether? "Clara," he began, stopping beside a frosted window, breathing out clouds of vapor. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have." He trailed off, running a hand through his hair like he always did when he was frustrated. She crossed her arms, not wanting to freeze under the weight of his gaze. "You shouldn't have what? Looked out for me? Or just been you?" Jake sighed. "I just didn't want you to get in trouble. You're taking a lot of risks because I wanted to feel something." Clara shot back, surprising herself with the burst of passion. "I'm tired of hiding in your shadow. For once, I wanted to break the rules." He interrupted, his voice sharp. "And what if they catch you, Clara? What if they don't?" She countered, her voice softening. "What if this is my chance to be me? Just for tonight?" The urgency of her words hung in the crisp night air, the moment stretched between them, uncertainty flickering in Jake's eyes. He shifted, that familiar protective nature flooding back in. "I get it. The dress was like a declaration, right? But you need to think. You need to think about us. Clara clenched her jaw. Us? You always make it about you, Jake. I wanted to create my own us, not the one you think I should be part of. There was a fierceness in her voice she never recognized. Jake looked taken aback, his brow furrowing. But I care about you. Then why can't you see me? She asked, the edge of her voice wavering. You think I'm just the little sister who can't do anything on her own. No, that's not, he began, but she stepped back, cutting him off. Let me be Clara without the title of little sister. For once, just let me have this. Jake inhaled sharply, his expression shifting from confusion to a hint of understanding. Maybe he was finally registering the depth of her struggle. I don't want you to feel alone in this. But there are consequences. Maybe the only consequence is never truly living. She exclaimed, tearing at the wall they had built together over the years. The air became heavy with the weight of unsaid things. They stood on the edge of that frozen moment, two halves of a whole, but so far apart. Clara could feel the heat of emotions bubbling up, electrifying the space between them. Yet, as she stared into her brother's eyes, she could see flickers of something she yearned for, recognition. What would it take for you to understand? Jake asked quietly, the question echoed in Clara's heart. She swallowed hard, weighing her words carefully. Just let me choose. Let me find my own freedom, no more restrictions. Just then, Clara noticed a glimpse of movement from within the ball. The music shifted, hinting at something different now. The walls from earlier had started to vibrate with a new energy, a call to dance, to embrace, to reclaim their relationship. Let us go back, Jake said tentatively, the light catching hope in his eyes. Let us dance together. Let us be here together. Clara hesitated. Could that be their way forward? Not just as siblings represented by one another's expectations, but as individuals navigating their own choices. With a smile that felt like light breaking through the clouds, she nodded. But as they turned to go back inside, Clara's gaze caught something, a flicker among the shadows. A figure lurking near the entrance, eyes fixed upon them, fear pouring from its stance. Who were they, and why did they seem so familiar? As Clara stepped forward, curiosity overlapping with caution, her heart raced. What was about to unfold that could change everything once again? Clara took a cautious step toward the shadowy figure, her breath hitching in her throat. The cold air that had felt so invigorating moments ago now seemed heavy with uncertainty. Jake lingered beside her, his protective instincts firing up again. She could feel the intensity of his gaze boring into the back of her head, but her curiosity outweighed her fear. Who is there? She called out, her voice wavering between brave and uncertain. The figure shifted, partially illuminated by the soft glow of the lights inside, and what she saw sent a jolt through her chest, a familiar face she hadn't expected to see. Luna? Clara whispered, her heart racing with surprise. Luna had been a classmate and a whirlwind of energy, a girl who had always danced beyond the edges of rules and propriety. The last Clara knew, she was miles away, off on an adventure of her own. Now, here she was, a ghost from the past standing at the edge of the ball. What are you doing here? Jake asked, stepping protectively in front of Clara, his posture stiffening, ready for anything. Luna looked between them, her eyes darting around the lively party behind them. I didn't expect to see you two here. I thought you were still tied up at home, Clara, she said, a smirk tugging at her lips. I was, Clara admitted, but I needed a change. Luna's expression softened, her usual daring spirit flickering like a flame. Good for you. This isn't just any party. You should be living, not hiding. Trust me, you need to embrace the night. Clara swallowed hard, the tension between her and Jake dragging like an anchor. Luna, I can't just. You can, Luna interjected. Come with me. There's a reason I'm here, and it's more than just a party. Tonight is a chance to break all chains. You'll see. Jake's frown deepened. What do you mean? I can't explain everything right now, Luna said, urgency in her voice. Just trust me. There's something big happening inside, something exciting. And it won't be the same without you. She stepped closer, eyes gleaming. Clara felt a surge of possibilities wash over her, and she was torn between the allure of adventure and the comfort of familiarity. What kind of big? She glanced at Jake, who was still holding on to his protective stance, clearly uncomfortable with the direction the conversation was heading. Luna shrugged, a cheeky smile breaking through. Let's just say, if you're looking for a spark, then you've got to find a flame. Are you in or out? Jake leaned in, an urgency to his voice. Clara, think this through. You don't know what she's involved in. It could be dangerous. But inside, Clara's heart was racing, battling against the logical warnings her brother presented. Was this what she had been waiting for? A chance to truly find herself? I have to decide, she whispered, the weight of her choice hanging like a pendulum. Jake's eyes softened slightly, sensing her inner turmoil. Clara, I'm here for you. No matter what. The flicker of hope ignited in her. Could she step over the line Jake had drawn, just once? Could she seize this moment? Let's do it, she said, her voice steady with newfound resolve. Let's make tonight unforgettable. Clara glanced at Luna, whose eyes sparkled with delight. But before they could step into the unknown, the air shifted again, the sound of footsteps echoed in the distance. Clara turned to see the figures of some older students emerging from the crowd, their eyes scanning the area with predatory focus. Get down! Jake shouted, pulling Clara close just as the leader of the group caught sight of them. Clara's heart raced again, this time filled with a mix of anxiety and thrilling anticipation. What was about to happen? She looked at Jake, determination mingling with fear. Whatever happens, let's face it together. As the group approached, she felt the weight of her decision settle in. The night was still young, and the prospect of chaos loomed like a shadow. Would they emerge with stories of victory or regret? Clara took a deep breath, poised for whatever adventure awaited. But would they be ready for the storm that was about to unfold? The group of older students swaggered toward them, a pack of wolves sizing up their prey. Clara could see the leader, a tall boy with a cocky grin and dimples that seemed out of place with the menace in his eyes. Her heart pounded in her chest, but it was drowned out by the rush of excitement. This was at the moment she had been waiting for. Jake was still gripping her arm, his worry evident. Clara, let's just back away, he urged, his voice low and tense, but Luna stood her ground, an unexpected grin growing on her face. Let them come! She exclaimed, her spirit infectious. This is what makes it fun. Clara turned to Luna, uncertainty swirling in her gut. What do you mean? Before Luna could answer, the leader of the pack called out, well, if it isn't the little newbies in the big leagues. What's the matter? Lost your way to the main party? Clara could feel the heat rising in her cheeks. We're not lost, she said, trying to sound confident. Just enjoying the fresh air. Enjoying the fresh air, huh? The leader stepped closer, smirk still plastered across his face. You know, it's not safe out here. You might get mugged or something. Lucky us, we just happened to find you. Luna stepped forward, her voice rising above the tension. Back off, Kyle. We don't want any trouble. Trouble is the least of your worries tonight, Luna, he sneered, eyes flickering to Clara and Jake. What's a party without a little chaos? Did you come out here looking for excitement? As he spoke, Clara felt something shift within her, a spark igniting in the pit of her stomach. Maybe this was exactly what she craved, chaos, unpredictability, the thrill of the unknown. It was a chance to let go of her fears, to walk right into the very storm she had been so apprehensive about. In that moment, she took a step forward, breaking free from Jake's grasp. What if we're looking for fun? What if tonight is about breaking the mold? She challenged, surprising herself as the words poured out. Jake's eyes widened in horror. Clara, don't. We need to leave. He said, fear etched across his face. The group shifted, curious but surprised. Kyle raised an eyebrow. Oh, we've got a feisty one here. What's your name, sweetheart? Clara, she replied, her voice steady despite the tremors dancing through her. Clara. I like it, he said with a grin. Why don't you and your little brother join us? We're just here to make tonight memorable. Luna's hand brushed against Clara's arm, urgency pressing in on her. You don't want to get mixed up with them, Clara. They're trouble. We need to go. But Clara could feel the weight of her choice, the danger almost thrilling. Jake, let us see what they want. Just for a moment, she said, her heart racing with each word. Trust me, Clara, these people aren't who you think they are, he warned. I can handle myself, she replied, surprising even herself with the conviction laced in her voice. This was her chance to shift the narrative, to carve her own identity in a night that had promised so much more than just another high school ball. The leader stepped closer, a glimmer of amusement shining in his eyes. You're bold. I like that. Why don't you prove it? Clara met his gaze, her heart racing, feeling the electric charge in the air. Maybe being bold was exactly what she needed. Just then, an unexpected scream echoed from within the crowd. It cut through the laughter, sending a wave of apprehension rippling through the partygoers. Clara's instincts kicked, and they weren't just in for fun. Something darker was unfolding. What was that? Jake asked, tension rising as more people turned to the source of the noise. Clara looked at Kyle, the thrill of the moment clouding her judgment. Let us find out, she said. As they moved toward the chaos, she felt Jake's hand slip into hers, tightening ever so slightly. It was a lifeline in the shifting tides of this unpredictable night. What were they wading into? But in the back of her mind, the earlier thrill still flickered. This night was evolving into something monumental. Whatever the outcome, there would be no way to go back. Just then, Clara heard a whisper in the wind, a haunting echo of her decision, urging her forward. What awaited them on the other side of that crowd? As they pushed through the crowd, Clara's heart thudded against her ribs, an electric rhythm that matched the pulsing energy around her. The scream had quieted, but an undercurrent of tension crackled in the air. She squeezed Jake's hand, his grip tightening. In response he could sense her excitement and fear. Stay close, he whispered, not taking his eyes off the churning mass ahead. Clara nodded, determined not to let Jake's worry dampen her growing thrill. With every step, vivid glimpses of chaos filled her senses. Faces contorted in surprise. Drinks sloshing over, their contents hitting the ground with a splatter, mixing with the sounds of laughter that had turned to murmurs of concern. Clara could feel the adrenaline rush through her veins. They were crossing some invisible threshold into unknown territory. What's happening? A girl asked nearby, her voice trembling as she backed away from the crowd. The murmurs morphed into whispers, forming a web of uncertainty. I heard someone got hurt. They say a fight broke out. I think someone stole something. Clara faltered for just a moment. A fight? Stealing? The thrill that had pulsed in her moments earlier felt suddenly sharp and dangerous. Yet, she felt a strange pull, a desire to get closer. What was driving her? The search for excitement or the need to witness something real, something raw? Clara, we should really go back, Jake insisted, still holding her hand like it was a lifeline. This isn't good. But before she could respond, Kyle's voice cut through the crowd like a knife. Hey! Everyone, chill out. Just a bit of fun. He yelled. The commotion cleared slightly as Clara and Jake advanced. Her pulse quickened. Kyle moved with confidence, his friends rallying behind him, eyes gleaming with mischief. He looked like he was in his element. Maybe he was right, maybe they all craved a break from the mundane. Look, let us see what they're hiding, Clara said, her voice rising above Jake's protests. She released his hand, caught in the magnetic pull of the chaos unraveling ahead. "What are you doing?" Jake hissed, panic evident in his eyes. But Clara was already moving. Luna had slipped ahead, a smile creeping back onto her face despite the tension. Their eyes met, and it was clear their spirits were aligned. Together, they ventured closer to the center of the gathering. As they broke through the outer circle, Clara's heart dropped. A tangled mess of limbs and shoving bodies filled her view. She saw a young boy on the ground, crying, while older teenagers loomed over him, their toxic energy palpable. "Come on, guys, this is ridiculous," a voice shouted. Clara, scanning the crowd, recognized it as another student she knew from class, Emma. "Leave him alone. He didn't do anything to you." Suddenly, a piercing sound shattered the air. A commotion erupted as someone shoved their way toward the conflict. Clara's breath caught as she realized someone was darting away from the skirmish, clutching something tightly against their chest. "What's that?" Clara asked breathlessly, her eyes following the thief. "That's not right," Jake exclaimed, his sense of justice flaring up. "We have to stop them." But as Kyle laughed and egged on the chaos, Clara felt her decision take root again. The thief's wild eyes locked onto hers for a fleeting second before they disappeared into the night, leaving a wake of chaos behind them. "Let us go after them," Jake urged. Clara paused, torn between the thrill of the chase and the fear of what lay ahead. But the tug of adventure was fierce, and she could feel the question burning within her. Was she ready to step into the shadow of danger, even if it meant risking everything she had known? With a resolve that surprised her, Clara turned to Jake and Luna. "Let us go. Tonight isn't just any night anymore." Together they plunged deeper into the darkened alleyways that seemed to promise their fair share of risk and discovery. What secrets lay ahead? And would they uncover a truth that would change their lives forever? They sprinted after the thief, adrenaline pumping through Clara's veins. The night was alive, the low hum of the crowd fading behind them as they raced down narrow streets lined with flickering street lamps. Shadows danced ominously around them, stretching and straining as Clara leaned into the thrill of the chase. "Are you sure about this?" Jake panted, his voice a mix of disbelief and concern. His eyes darted back, scanning for danger. Luna kept pace beside Clara, excitement and fear flickering across her face. "There's no turning back now," Clara replied, her heart pounding with each step. She could feel the exhilarating weight of mystery pressing upon them. An unfamiliar sense of freedom surged through her as they rounded a corner, the thief still just out of reach. They seemed to be chasing a ghost. The dim light made it hard to see, but Clara caught flashes of the thief's silhouette, a challenge darting through the dark. Clarity emerged momentarily as they raced through an alley where graffiti clung to the walls like wildflowers. If they caught up to them, what would she even say? "Stop!" she called out, her voice echoing off the brick. But the figure sped up, their hoodie pulled low, obscuring their face. Clara could only see one arm clutching a bundle tightly against them. Her mind whirled, imagining what treasures lay hidden beneath that fabric. Could it be the stolen goods everyone was whispering about? "Seriously, Clara, wait," Jake urged, his voice now filled with urgency. She slowed for just a moment, glancing back. Jake's chest heaved, his worry making him look even more determined. Clara knew she should listen, to take a step back from this reckless path they were on. But the allure of the unknown was intoxicating. "Do you think they're dangerous?" Luna asked breathlessly, glancing nervously over her shoulder. "Maybe," Clara admitted. "But we can't just let them get away, not when it's south so close." In that fleeting moment, she felt alive. The rush of possibility clashing with fear, an intoxicating cocktail of emotions swirling within her. She felt like they could be heroes, even if just for a night, rescuers chasing mischief and unveiling secrets. As they turned another corner, the alley began to widen, revealing a dimly lit courtyard. Clara's heart dropped. The thief had slowed, pausing in the middle of the open space. They were now face to face with a wall, back to the trio. Now what? Jake Whisper yelled, his eyes wide. Clara took a step forward, inching closer. This was her chance. She had to confront them. Hey! She called out, her voice trembling slightly but firm. You need to stop. The thief turned slowly, their face now partially illuminated by a lone street lamp. Clara's breath caught in her throat as she recognized them. It was someone from their school, someone she had seen in passing, someone who had always seemed so inconspicuous. What did you take? Clara demanded, a mix of anger and surprise coursing through her. The thief's eyes glinted with a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. You don't understand, they began, but their voice was drowned out by the heavy silence that pressed in around them. Then, just when Clara thought she might get answers, a new sound broke through the distant sirens of approaching police cars. The air crackled with urgency, filling the courtyard with tension. What do we do? Luna whispered, fear flickering in her eyes. Clara's heart raced. The chase had turned into something far more serious. They weren't just tracking down a thief now, they were engulfed in a web of unforeseen consequences. This wasn't just an adventure, it was becoming a reckoning. We can't let them get caught, Clara said, her voice shaky yet resolute. We have to help. But as they stepped forward, the thief took off again, disappearing into a side street. With the sirens closing in, Clara faced a choice: follow and risk everything, or turn back and blend into the night like every other bystander. And just as the weight of that decision bore down on her, her mind buzzed with uncertainty. What truth would they uncover? About themselves and the chase they were on. Are we going to follow them? Jake asked, barely able to catch his breath. Clara glanced back at the distant flashing lights, then toward the shadows where their only connection to the thief had vanished. Yes, she said firmly, we can't let this end here, not now. As they sprinted down the alley, Clara felt the thrill of danger coursing through her again. But would this confrontation unveil the hidden truths they all carried within? The alley was a blur of shadows and sound as they ran. Clara's heart raced not just from the exertion, but from a swirling storm of emotions inside her. This could either lead them to trouble or a breakthrough, and she couldn't shake the feeling that this was destiny, an opportunity to help someone who needed it. They turned sharply into the side street, just in time to catch sight of the thief as they stumbled to a halt. The streetlights flickered overhead, casting a surreal glow as Clara, Jake, and Luna closed in. In that moment, Clara saw not just the thief's defiance, but desperation etched across their features. Wait! Clara shouted, hoping a softer tone would cut through the tension. Why should I? The thief shot back, their voice laced with fear. Each word was like a guitar string, strained and ready to snap. Because you didn't have to run, Clara breathed, stepping a little closer. You can talk to us. Luna's hand found Clara's arm. What if they're armed? She whispered, her eyes darting around. Look at them, Jake murmured, his brow furrowed. They're scared like we are. Clara could see it too, the thief didn't look like the villain she had painted in her mind. They were just a kid, her age, a faint trembling visible in their frame. There was something hauntingly familiar about their wide, dark eyes, and Clara felt an immediate pang of empathy. I recognize you. We go to school together, don't we? The thief's body stiffened, and for a split second, the defiance flickered from their expression, replaced by a flash of vulnerability. You have no idea, they stammered, their breath coming in short gasps. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder by the second. Clara's heart sank, but she needed to know what had pushed this person to such desperate measures. Tell us what happens if they catch you, Clara urged, stepping even closer. We can help. The thief's eyes darted around, weighing their options. Help? You think I want help? They laughed bitterly. What would you know about it? The truth hung heavy in the air. Clara felt it swirl around them like smoke, thick and suffocating. I'm not perfect either, Clara confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. We all have our battles. What did you take? Who are you running from? As soon as the question left her lips, the distance between them seemed to vanish. The thief glanced over their shoulder, fear rising again at the sound of engines approaching. Listen, if they catch me, it's over. But if you want to help, you need to trust me. You need to come with me now. Without waiting for agreement, they turned and sprinted away, the weight of Clara's decision pressing on her heart. Come on! She shouted, pulling Jake and Luna along. They knew this might be their only chance not just to catch the thief, but to understand the story hidden beneath the surface. They barreled after the thief, the sirens now fading into a background hum as they entered a looming tunnel that swallowed the night. What are we getting ourselves into? Jake gasped, glancing nervously at Clara. But Clara didn't have an answer. All she felt was the tightening grip of uncertainty in her stomach, and the fear that chasing this thread might unravel a web of secrets she wasn't prepared for. They plunged into darkness, the light from the tunnel's entrance shrinking behind them. Clara's thoughts raced. What would she find lurking in the shadows together with her decision to follow? What was about to unfold on this wild, unplanned journey? Clara, do you really think we can help them? Luna asked, her voice trembling in the eerie silence. Maybe, Clara replied, though doubt crept in. But we have to try. The thief emerged again, urging them to keep pace. Clara couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something far deeper than a mere theft. And just as they rounded the corner, lights flickered to life ahead, revealing a warehouse filled with people and sounds Clara couldn't quite grasp. What lay inside that building, and could it change everything they thought they knew? The warehouse loomed before them like a monster awakened from slumber, its shadows alive with movement and noise. Clara's breath hitched as they stepped into the bright lights, the sudden change in atmosphere nearly knocking the wind out of her. In that moment, reality blurred. The air vibrated with chatter, laughter, and the unmistakable energy of a crowd. Music pulsed in the background, a chaotic symphony that felt foreign yet oddly familiar. People shuffled about, their faces illuminated by string lights that hung from the rafters, casting a warm glow over the chaotic scene. Where are we? Clara whispered, glancing at Jake and Luna, who mirrored her wide-eyed shock. Where do you think? An underground market. Jake suggested, grimacing. No, it's more like a hideout, Luna replied, crossing her arms as if to shield herself from the spectacle. The thief hurried ahead, weaving through crowds, but Clara paused. She needed to take it all in this world they had stepped into. Was this the desperation she imagined? Or was it a place where people like them found freedom? She clenched her teeth, striding forward to catch up. As they entered deeper into the warehouse, Clara noticed a table piled high with stolen goods, phones, clothes, and shiny gadgets all glittering under the lights like treasures from a forbidden dream. It felt surreal, seeing everything displayed so casually, as if it were an everyday event. Why would people do this? Clara murmured, mostly to herself. Aren't they afraid? The thief turned back, frustration bubbling over. Afraid? They spat. You think this is about fear? It's about survival. You have no idea what it's like out there. Clara's heart twisted at the rawness in their voice. She sensed layers to their story, pain hidden behind that bravado. Clara took a cautious step closer. We want to help. But you need to tell us why you're here. The thief's expression flickered, a battle between vulnerability and anger. There was a crack in their armor, and Clara could sense it. It's not just me, we're all caught up in this. Some of us don't have a choice. Just then, the crowd parted, revealing a group of older teenagers who gathered at the far end, their faces hardened and calculating. Clara felt an instinctual wave of apprehension wash over her. These didn't look like the friendly faces she had hoped to find. Get down! The thief yelled, dragging Clara, Jake, and Luna behind a stack of boxes just as the unmistakable sound of shouting broke out. What's happening? Luna squeaked, trembling against Clara's side. Those are the dealers. They don't mess around. If they think you're a threat. The thief's voice trailed off, eyes darting around fearfully. Clara's heart raced again, but this time it wasn't from empathy. It twisted with adrenaline as the reality of their situation sank in. They had crossed an invisible line, plunging deeper into a world where choices were sharp and lives could be lost in an instant. The shouting grew louder, a familiar sense of chaos rising. Jake's grip tightened on her arm, and Clara's mind spun with thoughts of escape and urgent desire to pull them out of this. But what if untangling themselves meant leaving someone behind, a kid who felt just as lost as she did? She could feel the weight of their choices pressing down, and then suddenly, she made a decision. We need to help them, she whispered fiercely. The thief turned, surprised. What? Why? Because everyone deserves a second chance, Clara said, her voice steady despite the danger. She was done running from fear. But the question loomed. The edges of this new adventure were now sharper than ever. As the shouting escalated and tension clipped the air, Clara drew a deep breath. But what would they find on the other side of this decision? And could one simple act of courage change the course of their lives forever? Clara's heart raced as she felt the deep pull of responsibility anchor her feet to the ground. While chaos erupted around them, she held her breath, quietly weighing her choices. Fear and bravery tangled within her as the shouts from the dealers echoed through the warehouse. She realized that this wasn't just about the thrills and excitement anymore, it was about standing up for someone who desperately needed support. Clara, Jake whispered urgently, his eyes wide. We can't get involved. This is not what we signed up for. But Clara felt a spark of determination, lit brightly by all those suppressed dreams. No, Jake. We can't just walk away. What if these kids, what if they need someone to believe in them? At that moment, something shifted in her, the realization that her voice could make a difference, that standing alongside someone in need could unravel the binds of fear that had long held her captive. She recalled the daydreams she had painted for herself, all shimmering with hope, and that deep desire to be more than just the quiet sister. We have to help, she repeated, more resolute this time. The thief, still crouched against the boxes, looked at Clara with a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. You really want to help me? Not just you. We can help everyone here, Clara nodded, feeling Jake's disbelief weigh heavily on her. But she pressed forward, heart pounding with adrenaline. We need to find a way to calm this down, to connect with them. This whole operation doesn't have to end in chaos. With a determined glance to Jake and Luna, Clara gestured for them to follow her. Stick close. Stay low. She moved deeper into the crowd, threading through the chaos with her newfound commitment wrapping around her like armor. Luna let out a quiet squeak, her eyes darting nervously. What if they catch us, Clara? Trust me. We can do this, Clara whispered back. The fire inside her crackled, fueled by hope and the need to be counted, to matter. As they drew closer to the heated group, Jake hesitated, frozen by fear. He finally whispered, Clara, please. But she couldn't stop now. She saw the young boy at the center of the chaos, his wide eyes reflecting fear but also the flicker of determination. Clara stepped closer, her voice steady yet soft, cutting through the clamor. Everyone, wait. Stop this. We're all just trying to survive here. The crowd shifted as heads turned towards her, surprise cutting through the anger. The dealers exchanged glances, their expressions a mix of curiosity and suspicion. Who the hell are you? One of the dealers spat, but Clara didn't flinch. I'm someone who understands what it's like to feel trapped. We all have our struggles, our fears. Let us talk this out, not fight it out, she said, every syllable echoing the urgency in her heart. We want to help, not harm. Just give us a chance. The tension in the air crackled as the dealer's smirk faded slightly, confusion replacing bravado. Clara's words flowed, fueled by emotion. The thrumming chaos quieted to hushed murmurs, and for the first time, she felt the weight of her voice commanding attention. Just then, the thief stepped forward, their expression now mingled with newfound hope. We're not criminals. We're just fighting to live to find a way forward. Can you help us? Clara glanced back at Jake, who still looked uneasy but recognized the sincerity swirling around him. He stepped up to Clara's side, the protective big brother shifting toward support. Together, Jake added, we can make change happen. Let us work it out together. Surprised gasps rippled through the crowd as Jake's voice cut through the tension, and Luna jumped beside Clara, her bright spirit fueling the resolve. No more hiding. We all deserve a fresh start. Seeing the three of them standing together, something shifted. The dealers exchanged words, uncertainty flickering in their eyes, and slowly, the atmosphere of tension and desperation began to shift. The rumbles of concern spread like wildfire, igniting the courage within those surrounding them. Someone from the back of the crowd began to step forward and then another. Clara took in a breath, praying this wasn't a moment lost to fear but a step toward the light. Clara reported, we can form alliances and create a support system. We can help each other rise above this. The mood lightened, hope washing over the crowd. With each passing second, Clara could sense the unity forming. As the night unfolded, connections were forged, old paths were abandoned, and together they crafted a new vision, a collective dream of change. What had begun as a chaotic affair morphed into a testament of strength and collaboration. Clara looked at Jake, their eyes meeting with a warmth that bridged the gap between siblings. She felt the joy bubbling inside her, tears of relief mingling with laughter as hope blossomed for everyone. That night, beneath the twinkling lights of the warehouse, amidst the whispers of uncertainty and the promise of a better tomorrow, Clara stepped into the role she had always yearned for, not just as a sister in the shadows but as a heart leading others into the light. With bravery stitched into her tapestry, and with family and friends gathered, they stood tall, embracing the truth that no one has to fight alone, and for the first time, Clara fully understood her strength. Now, if you felt inspired by Clara's journey, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help this movement grow. Comment your reactions, feelings, and how you relate to Clara's transformation in the comments below, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Only true fans understand the power of support.